the residents that we've had in the past with some of our clients where as the third party property management company, where even though we're addressing the issues, they would just continuously call the owners because they didn't have their numbers. And because of that, I mean, because they did have their numbers. And, going and explaining everything, telling them what we can and what we cannot do, and responding to their issues quickly is the best way to avoid any interaction between you as the property owner and the tenant when you have a property management company in the middle. And again, the third key is to maintain the property. If you have as a property manager, we have had in the past some owners that didn't want to spend the money necessary to maintain the property properly, and it actually cost those owners money because then they would end up losing the tenant. And we would tell them, we would document everything and say, look, this is what needs to be done. And if they weren't willing to spend the money, sometimes those tenants would end up moving somewhere else.
Yeah, let me just chime in on a few things here. Coming back to the issue of pricing properly, we have some clients that, they want to get, some people want to get their properties rented up as quickly as possible, and some people want to get that highest price no matter what. And they don't, and typically those people, they have, nicer properties and, very nice neighborhoods and, gated and all that kind of stuff. But it's kind of a double-edged sword if you're looking to get that highest rent, because when you're when you're marketing your property, you want to be able to have a pool of prospects. You know, if you can get a couple of people that have applied, maybe even more, now you can be choosy because you have options. But what I've experienced when you try to set that market, and we've been very successful at setting the market rent in certain neighborhoods, but the thing is, the persons that apply may be just the one person that is willing to apply at that one property. And so you're kind of stuck with that one individual. And then the landlords, then they start complaining because they start saying, oh, this tenant is too fussy, to this, to that, even though they're getting that highest rent in the neighborhood or in the city, whatever. Um, so that's kind of something to consider. I think it's better business wise to have a pool of applicants, price it properly so that you can have a pool of applicants. Um, and then you can be a little bit more choosy on that.
Yeah, and I'd also like to add, in the past, and I'm sure it still currently works, is that when we do showings, scheduling like two or three applicants at the same time to create a sense of urgency. So it's like, okay, we got a 10 o'clock, or set them like 10 minutes apart. So you're just finishing doing a showing and then somebody else is showing up. And so then they have that sense of urgency. Oh no, there's another applicant coming in looking at this unit. And so that really has helped us to actually get the applications and get the applicants submitting and actually giving us a choice as far as who the best applicant is going to be.
Yeah, and touching back here on the issue of maintenance. Now, responding to maintenance requests and all that, doesn't necessarily mean that you have to like be right there and have that service guy, that plumber or whatever there, within the hour or anything like that. But you just want to respond in a timely manner. If somebody has you know, a, especially like a serious leak, you want to, get that handled immediately. But if somebody has you know, a, I mean, for example, maybe a light fixture that is not working properly. Okay, it's not necessarily an emergency item. You don't need to get somebody like, within the next half hour or so, but at least communicating with the tenant that, hey, I heard your request. we're working on it, and we're going to get somebody out there as soon as we can. And that's mainly just what tenants want. They just want to know that, hey, somebody's heard my request, somebody's acting on it, and most tenants are going to be very patient and flexible with you on that.